What's going on, people, and welcome back to totalozspurs. And news has been hit that Madison may be out for our next two games. Before we get into it, guys, make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel. And please hit that bell button for notifications for when we release our videos in the future. So it has been revealed that James Madison has a mild MCL injury, medial collateral ligament injury to be specific. Luckily, it's only mild because that could end up with the severity of it. It could end up being a 6-week treatment if it was more severe. But luckily for us, it was only a mild one. And I've heard rumors that he could be back for this weekend. Well, he could have been back if the club pushed him. But I think the club has decided that he will miss out on the game this weekend against Bournemouth. And the midweek cup game against Fulham, which for me it's quite surprising, but it's also it's a good surprise, right? We've been known, or our medical team has been known to rush players back, i.e. Harry Kane in the Champions League final. Madison has become integral to our team and the way we play, also providing the creative spark that we had with no one else apart from Kane. Losing Kane, Madison kind of has to hold that creative ingenuity, within the squad, and he's been immense so far. And it's quite stressful that he's actually picked up a little injury, but fortunately, it's only a small one. I do think we're fortunate in the timing because we all know after the next 4 games, 3 being Premier League games and the cup game against Fulham, we have a pretty hard run, and with the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool in and around the next games following. So he's picked the right time to pick up an injury. He is a little bit injury prone. Had copped a few injuries down at Leicester before he came to us. So under the circumstances, I think we're fortunate. He is going to be a big miss, but it gives someone that I feel like needs to have a second chance a go. Earlier on this week we spoke about a little rumor that Celso was unhappy with Ange and has openly said that Ange broke promises. Looking back on it, I do think that was something that was blown out of proportion. I'm sure Lo Celso is upset that he hasn't started or haven't received any game time in the first 2 games of the season, considering how fluid he looked in our preseason games. He actually played very well, if not, just as good, if not better than Madison during our preseason games. And Madison was always playing in a team with the likes of Son, Kane, pretty much our first team. So for Lo Celso to kind of show himself playing with the second team per se, there's still something about him, and I don't know what it is about Lo Celso, but I think something might come good from him this season. And he has his opportunity if Ange plays him in that role, which I think he's the only other player that we have apart from Madison that can play that attacking midfielder role. I want him to give it a go. Going back on those rumors, it was rumored that he was upset with broken promises, and you got to think, if that was the case, Ange would move him on. Ange wouldn't play him because Ange is the type of manager that it's like, he's openly, well, he hasn't openly admitted, but there's rumors that he doesn't trust Dyer and wants him gone, and that's the kind of manager he is. If you don't fit the system or he can't trust you with what he needs you to do, he isn't going to keep you around just to balance the books or to keep you happy. He's got to move you on and get someone in that needs to do the job. And I'm praying that Lo Celso is the guy, because I feel like he, in terms of ball carrying, he's not as good in terms of agileness, the agility that Madison seems to have to be able to turn on the ball and dribble through tight spaces. But Lo Celso can carry the ball fairly well, carries the ball into the box. And he's not bad at passing either, not Madison level, but he's a good little passer. And when you get props from players when you play for international teams, and I know we can't rely on other players' opinions because there's also a lot of bias, being your friends or compatriots or being the same, being from the same country or the same hometown or the same club in different environments. I do feel like we have to take that with a pinch of salt. But I do think that Lo Celso can do something, and it's the perfect games, right? Because for him, for me, it can go one of two ways. It's a win-win situation for him, where regardless if he does well or not, people will go, okay, well, if he doesn't do well, I's just come into the team, still hasn't gelled. Madison's been the main man. Lo Celso have to grow into the position. Or if he does outstanding, it's look, Lo Celso is ready to go. We've got great competition with Madison. What I don't want to see is if he does have a poor game, is people flaming him, putting him down, especially if he's in Ange's plans, because we have a manager here that knows what he wants and knows who he wants to play. And if someone is playing, it's for a reason. There's a reason why Porro is playing at right back when he's not as defensively good as Royal, because he can provide so much more going forward, like a Doji does on that left-hand side. So for me, guys, I'm happy to see Lo Celso go in there. If he doesn't go in there, then for me, that means Lo Celso's on his way out. I think it's the natural cover for Madison. And if Lo Celso can be, just as good as what he was at Argentina, we have a real battle in that center attacking mid role. I want players to come in and grasp it like Papa Matasar did in that midfield. Last weekend, first start with Basuma and Madison, absolutely bossed it. I feel like that's what Solomon does when he comes on. He kind of just wants to do everything he can to show himself. Doji's done it. He's shown that he can, adapt to the Premier League. Doesn't need time to settle in. Seems like he's been here for a couple of years already. Obviously not making outstanding performances, but very good performances for his first two games. And that's what I want Lo Celso to come back and do. I feel like he was under managers that didn't suit his style as per se. The big money transfer from Real Betis, I think, is kind of like the Ndombele thing, put too much pressure on him. However, I will say that the reason why I've been calling for Lo Celso and not Ndombele is because Lo Celso seems to want to work for his opportunities, whereas Ndombele feels like he expects them. He's got bags of talent, but, dedication and work rate beats talent every time. 99% of the time. You look at the Messi's case and Ronaldo's case, like that's a whole nother level. That's something that could probably never happen again. But you look at someone like Park Ji-sung, for instance. I know it's going. He was an amazing midfielder, different position to Dele Alli, but Dele Alli had all the talent in the world and no work rate. Park Ji-sung just did what he did right. It's a very different comparison, different players, different play styles, different teams, but the idea is there. Someone can have bags of talent, but if there's another player that has less talent but is willing to work harder, that person is more likely to have a better successful career, be more consistent, and actually reach a ceiling that the talented player could have reached if they worked hard but won't. With that Ndombele, Lo Celso, I don't want to see Ndombele anywhere near the team. I don't think Andrew wants him near the team. But yeah, I'm excited to see if Lo Celso does start. And if he does, I do hope we are playing because, that Fulham game midweek, I don't know. For me, I want a cup. So I feel like we should go for a semi-strong team. But I wouldn't, if we're going to switch it up, Højbjerg, Skip, and Lo Celso maybe in the midfield with Basuma and Sarr on a rest, or you start Basuma and Sarr with Lo Celso to try and give him the best chance to show what he can do. But guys, I am going to end it there. It's a bit of a rabble, but just wanted to get your thoughts and your feelings on having Lo Celso go in that role, if or anybody else. If there's any shout for any other players, the likes of Divine or anything like that, please let us know in the comments who you think will cover for Madison while he's out for a week and a half. There will be a Bournemouth match preview tomorrow. Tomorrow night we'll release it here in Australia. So during the day in England, and trying to confirm the watch along for this Saturday. I have a date night planned. And with the game times, I'll be home pretty much just as the second half starts, so I can't run that. watch along, but one of the boys may be able to do it. I will confirm that tomorrow for you guys, so you can join us on our live watch along this Saturday. And if you are around tomorrow night, after we release a video, I will be on the Hotspur Hood. I've been in there a couple of times already, but it looks like we've got a show tomorrow night, 1 p.m. UK time, so 10 p.m. here in Australia. So make sure you jump over there, guys. Like, comment on that when we are live. But that's it from me, guys. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Take it easy. And you know what we say here at Total Spurs, guys. Just stay Spursy, guys.